Welcome everyone to Songwriting 201, Building Character, What I've Done with Tone and Style. My name is Amanda Friedman, and I am the project coordinator here at the National Alliance for Musical Theater, or NAMT, as we like to call it. We're so excited to dive into today's workshop on exploring character through tone and style in songwriting, and to talk more about the application for the Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge for high school students. We have a lot to go over, and we're going to move pretty quickly, so please know that this is all being recorded, and we'll put it on our website after the event. Today, we're also going to be joined by two very special guests, musical theater writers Zeniba and Rodney Bush. And we're so excited for all that they're going to bring to tonight. But before we chat with them, we're going to talk through what the Songwriting Challenge is and go step by step through the application. So let's get started. Here at NAMT, our mission is to support musical theater development, production, innovation, and collaboration. We're a member service organization for the musical theater field, and our members include regional theaters, academic institutions, presenters, producers, and students. We do this through a number of programs, including our annual Festival of New Musicals, semi-annual education conferences, our 2 granting programs, and of course, the Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge for high school students, which is an initiative of the National Endowment for the Arts. The process of being involved in the Songwriting Challenge for high school students is a really exciting artistic journey. The student, that's you, writes a song that could be part of a larger musical. And that show doesn't even have to be completed or written, just the idea of it. Students will then submit that initial song to our draft 1 round, in which all songs will be listened to and reviewed by a wide panel of NAMT members, NAMT artists, challenge partners, and more. All students will receive feedback on their initial submission from these professionals. So right off the bat, there's an immediate creative development component for all students. Students will then have the opportunity to reshape their song based on the feedback they received and submit the song again in our draft 2 round. They'll show us how they've implemented those notes and give us more information about the character and narrative development within the song. This is the competitive round in contention for the winners weekend. And then finally from there, we'll select several winners that will have a chance to come to New York City, receive direct one-to-one mentorship from NAMT artists and more as they develop their song and prepare for a one-night only event where their songs will premiere on stage with Broadway talent. Looking at the timeline of this program, there are a few things you need to know. Submissions are now open, and they will stay open until January 31st, 2025. This is for draft 1 submissions, so feedback only. Songs will receive feedback in March 2025, and participants will have about 1 month to digest that feedback and implement it into their draft 2 submission, which will open on March 14th. This is the competitive round, and students must have submitted to draft 1 in order to be eligible. Draft 2 submissions will close on April 11th, and songs will be evaluated, and then a handful of winners will be selected and invited to New York City to workshop their materials, premiere their songs live in concert, and fully immerse in all things theater in June 2025. And those winners weekend dates are June 13th to 17th, 2025. Speaking of Winners Weekend, let's talk a little bit more about what the students will be receiving at the end of this. So first, in true NAMT tradition, there will be a cohort of winners representing the breadth and depth of submissions sent in. Students will be matched with NAMT writers and other prominent artists in the musical theater field to coach them through skill building, technique, process, lifestyle, and anything you can really imagine. Students will get sessions with their mentor writers to discuss the work they've done, what they want to do, and how to better the song they've written. Students will also meet with our music team, who will develop the orchestrations, build out charts, and help bring to life the music the student has written and try to capture in their submission demo. This is all working toward a one-night-only concert event of the winning songs and more in NYC featuring Broadway talent that'll be captured and streamed nationwide. And finally, there will be even more. We'll see shows and meet those working on stage and off to have a fully rounded experience on Broadway. Remember, there are interactive workshop opportunities throughout the submission process for all student participants to be a part of. So for a full list of upcoming challenge events, go to namp.org/challenge. To get started on your submission, here are a couple places you can go for more resources. So you can go to arts.gov/songwriting to learn more about the history of the Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge. namp.org/challenge is going to be your one-stop shop for all things challenge. More about the program, upcoming events, songs from our previous challenge winners, and the Writing is Rewriting Resource Center. Submissions for draft 1 of this year's songwriting challenge are due January 31st. And here are the NAMT staff emails if you have any questions. And if you run into any technical issues, you can go to namp.org/submission-help. The Writing is Rewriting Resource Center is live on the NAMP website at namp.org/rewriting. As you begin working on draft 1 of your songs, check out the Resource Center for learning modules, songwriting tips, and recordings of past challenge events. If you're feeling stuck or looking for inspiration, the Resource Center is there for you. Here are a few more things you can do to prepare for submitting to the songwriting challenge. We use Submittable for all of our applications. So make sure that 1, notifications at Submittable is in your contacts. 2, you've successfully made an account on Submittable and remember the password. 3, you have checked out the submission guidelines. And 4, the student and a parent or guardian have signed the consent form available on namp.org/challenge. So let's start with step 1, the very basics. When you begin to fill out your application, you will be asked to fill out the song name and the song credits. So just list who wrote the music and who wrote the lyrics. Step 2 will be about you. You'll fill out your name, your address, contact information, your grade, and your school. Steps 3 and 4 will ask you a few survey questions. So first, how did you hear about the songwriting challenge? And yes, you should be following at namp_org on Instagram. And second, we have a couple more optional questions about you. These don't factor into the review of your application. It's just a means of monitoring who we're reaching. Step 5 is about if there's another writer. This is really important. We need to know if another student writer contributed to the song and would participate in this experience. If so, select yes, and you'll be asked to complete everything again for the additional writer. If not, then you'll just be able to easily keep going. Step 6 is going to ask a few specific questions. The first question is, what we need to know here is that the song is both by you and by students. So if the answer is no, email us because you may not be eligible. Question 2, we're looking for new works. So if it's already been produced or licensed, it may not be eligible. Email us if your answer is yes on question 2. Question 3, we want to make sure you can join us if you win. Let us know that you'll be able to travel to New York City in mid-June in 2025 on those dates, June 13th to 17th. Remember that for Winners Weekend, all expenses are paid for the winners and for one chaperone. Next, tell us about your song. We want to know what's happening in the moment that your song takes place. Who is singing? Who are they singing to? What do they want? When and where are they? What else might be happening in this big musical story? And don't forget, what inspired this for you? Where is this coming from and why? You can write this ahead of time and paste it into the section here on Submittable. The next step is that you're going to confirm that the submission is yours and that the work here belongs to you. Also, this is where you'll complete that parent or guardian form and upload it. You can find that form both in the application itself and on namp.org/challenge. Go ahead and make sure both the student and parent or guardian completes it, and then upload that signed document on this section. Note the form is 2 pages you are required to fill in, so please upload both or I will send you a strongly worded email. The next step is uploads. Here you'll start to upload the actual song components itself. First, you'll upload a demo of your song. Your demo can be up to 10 minutes long, but you should try to aim for about 5 minutes or less for the committee. Make sure you are checking the approved file types here. In the next box, you're going to place your written lyrics. You can write these in a note or document and copy and paste, but make sure the format is readable and makes sense. And some things to keep in mind about the audio demos. Clarity is most important. We have to be able to hear exactly what you want us to hear clearly. Quiet the background and a simple setup are best. And that's important too, keeping it simple. We can use our imaginations for what a full sound of the song is. A simple melody with maybe some simple solo supporting accompaniment is fine. Acapella submissions are also acceptable. And most importantly, do it with feeling. Make sure we're getting the style and mood of the song. Interpret it as an actor. It's for a musical after all. And next, you have the option to upload a 2-minute intro video or a 1-page introductory statement about you. And here are a few things to think about this. Again, keep it clear and simple. Don't do too much, nothing flashy. A simple direct address is fine. And keep this short. 2 minutes goes by fast, so plan out what you want to say wisely. Be open. Do you really want to get to know you? What's interesting to you about songwriting, and why do you want to do this? You also have the opportunity to upload a written score. This is optional and doesn't affect the review of your application. Next, step 10 is the final check. So be sure to fix any errors that appear in red text throughout the application, and check to make sure you've included the right files. Then hit submit when you are ready to send in your application. We'll review the submissions and let you know if we spot an error or a question, and you'll get the chance to make changes if we need you to. And then that'll be it. Congrats on submitting to the Songwriting Challenge. You'll receive a confirmation from notifications@submittable.com, so make sure it's in your email contacts. Feedback will come for all Draft 1 submissions in March, so keep an eye out for an email from a NAMT staff member. And we have more events coming up. So we want you to save the date for our upcoming challenge events, which include Songwriting Lab on Monday, December 16th from 7 to 8:30 p.m., office hours on Monday, January 6th from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and Winter Break Song Share on Monday, January 27th from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can register now for all of these events at namp.org/challenge. Now, I am so excited to introduce our very special guests, the funny fantasy pop songwriting duo, Zeniba and Rodney Bush. I'm gonna hand it over to the two of them.
Hello.
Hi everyone. We're so excited to be here with you today online.
Yes, at the NAMT Tiny Desk.
Yes. I'm Zeniba now.
I'm Rodney Bush.
And today we are going to dive into elements of songwriting. We're going to look at tone and style and how they relate to character.
And then we're going to explore some improvisation, some exercises to help you discover tone and style in your writing as you go along.
Okay, so let's get started with a simple definition. What is tone? Okay, so tone is a song's mood, vibe, or emotional appeal. It tells us everything we need to know about how a character is feeling in a specific moment. For example, your parents, sometimes you might get in trouble with your parents not because of what you said, but because of how you said it. They might say, watch your tone, young
Yes.
lady.
Some examples might include like comedic or tragic or angry or ecstatic, haunting, hopeful, celebratory, passionate.
A whole list of words
Whole list
right
of them
there.
right there. I'm trying to read as we go along.
Endless options to explore.
Yeah, I think to better understand just like what we're saying by tone, a little example here, the song Miracle of Miracles, Harnick and Bach from Fiddler. And while you're listening to it, we're going to play a little clip. It's a short song. Listen to and think about what you think the tone of the song might be as per the definition. Hit it.
Yay. Okay, so everybody, oh, and I see somebody has already got us started in the chat. Let's all start throwing things in the chat. So we just listened to that. You could read the lyrics. What is the tone of the song?
Exciting, exuberant, and success. Celebratory. The tone is very joyous. These are all excellent answers. I wonder if you can tell me what you think the tone, these tones that you're saying, tells us about the character that's singing. What does the tone tell us about the character? Super happy. The character's happy. The character's, oh, I love whimsy. I was just talking about whimsy today. Optimist, I love that. Heart on the sleeve.
That's great. Okay. Yeah, I think you guys have got it. So that's broadly the tone, and that was a really straightforward example, right? Where the character is ecstatic and he's found love and he wants to shout it from the rooftops, and there's not an underlying sense that something could go wrong. It's really just exactly what it feels like, a big optimistic moment. Okay, and so now we're going to talk about style. And we're going to look, so let's get another definition going, okay? So style is the genre, tradition, and school of thought of the songwriting. So style informs the audience of the kind of world they are
Yeah, a lot of different examples here we see on this lovely slide: classical funk, R&B, jazz. That's musical styles. And then there's the lyrical style, which is, you know, sort of a point of view or perspective. Is it dialogue? Is it, you know, person-to-person dialogue? Is it satire? Is it sort of an epistolary form, a diary, letter writing, a comedy, direct address, and prose? These are all different lyrical styles. And often you can find lyrical styles that match or that are sort of disparate, and I think that can create some really interesting rub. And to better understand style, I thought we'd look at the song Silver Springs, which is a cut song from one of the greatest albums of all time, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. That's a personal opinion. This was cut, and it's sort of made a resurgence recently on TikTok because, you know, in '97 Stevie sang it at the person she's write it for, which we'll take a look in a bit. But I thought we'd listen to a little verse, pre-chorus, and then the chorus of this song because they're really excellent. So take a listen. Now the chorus. Yeah, rock and roll.
Okay, so we just listened to the song and had the lyrics in front of us. So what is the style of the music? Let's get into the chat again. What do we feel like the style is?
So I'm seeing some tone words in here. That's a lyric, poetic, definitely lyric style. There's some poetry there in the verse.
An easier way to say it might be, what is the genre of music?
Yeah, rock and folk, exactly right.
Cool, yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And then what does the style tell us about the character or about the lead singer or the band?
Build up, poetic, dreamy, romantic, transition to more steadfast, her voice. These are all great. I think wondering what you think the lyric style, these poetries that yes, for sure. Sad, angry at someone.
Definitely the character is hurt. The character is in pain. The character maybe has unleashed something within.
It shows us, you know, I think the song specifically, I believe, shows us that they're passionate about what they're trying to convey. I think using the rock and the pop idiom, when you think about, you know, music theater writing, often scores can contain a lot of different genres, but specifically for this moment in these lyrics that she's trying to say, I think a rock genre can help, like the belt, to use, you know, a pretty base term, to like scream out the passion, scream out the lyrics, and you know, then a little bit of ad-lib at the end, and then the lyric style, which is poetic and is also, I believe, direct address, makes it super pointed. And to sort of give an example of that, this is the clip that sort of went around from '97 of Stevie Nicks singing it at the person that she used to date and that she wrote the song for, and I thought it's like she's casting a spell. And it's brilliant, and so I think you all should see it. So enjoy this little gobbet of a video.
Yeah, the chat is funny right now. Exactly, it's so threatening, right? The lyric is really dreamy and you know, like all of their music, but it's really threatening. You know, you will never get away from this. This will haunt you.
Yep.
It's a threat.
Yes, from Grandmother Witch herself.
From a grandmother witch.
From the Grandmother Witch. All right. I thought we'd move on to some improv, the second part of our presentation.
Yeah, so Rodney and I rely on improv all the time when songwriting, to the point where we just started performing improv sets because people like it so much. But improvisation is an incredible tool that you can use just in the privacy of your writing collaboration or in the privacy of your solo writing to really quickly try things out, okay?
Yeah, we often will just sit in a room and, or even home alone. I'll just start where the hands fall, where I'm a piano player first, or where the guitar strums happen, and see what initial spark comes and what it leads to, and we do that especially when we're writing together.
Yeah, and other times when you're writing a musical, a lot of times you have a really narrow. Or what can feel like a really narrow, strict plot point that you need to achieve with this song. And you have a lot of details that need to be executed. And regardless, improving is still a wonderful tool. It's at the center of our collaboration. And you don't have to use it as a tool, but sometimes our subconscious mind allows us to tap into really truthful moments or to make really interesting choices that we just would never make if we sat and planned it out.
Yeah, and so, I mean, sometimes those interesting choices survive, and sometimes the gesture or the whiff of the idea survives. But it's I think it's a helpful posture to take, and it really helps to like get creative juices flowing in a great way.
Yeah. And so, we are going to see what we can discover about tone and style and the characters that's singing the song by doing some musical improv exercises, okay? So in advance, we wrote a really simple set of lyrics. Here they are. Yes, I did it. It's true. But who can blame me? Can you? Okay? So that's a really, really simple set of lyrics, okay?
Yeah, and we start to, with that, we start to think like, okay, what type of character could sing this? Who could sing this? What could it be about? What styles can it present it? And the options really are limitless.
And so we just want to show you how the style and the tone can evolve completely regardless of the lyrics changing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not always about what you say, but how you say it. Okay, so this is the first prompt that we came up with. And so we're going to say that the first time that we're going to go through this song, it's going to be a song about a woman who murders her barista because she made her latte incorrectly.
Damn.
Okay, and so for style, or for genre, we're going to try and keep it old school, vaudeville, gold age.
Vaudeville.
Anything
gold
like
age.
that. Yes, I did it. It's true, but who can blame me? Can you? Yes, I did it. It's true, but who can blame me? Can you? So obviously, it's hard to be in the service industry, B says in the chat. Yes, it is. One latte wrong, you could lose your life.
Who knew?
And so let's start going in the chat. What was broadly the sort of, what did we learn about the character from that tone, from that genre? Besides that it's hard to be in the service industry. Which I think just about that's as pithy as we're going to get with responses. It's definitely the song, the confession by a villain, I would say,
sure.
in that sort of style. The character isn't regretful whatsoever. It's clearly like a silly world. This is something maybe like an Yzma would sing, or a Scar, a sort of cartoon villain, right?
Totally. Yeah. It has the
yes,
element of
exactly.
ridiculous,
Disney
for sure.
villain energy, pure evil just for the fun of it, right?
Believes that she's in the right. That's amazing. Yeah.
Mischievous, yes.
Characters have to believe what they're singing.
Totally. Oh, she's semi-proud of the crime. Yes, exactly, right? And so that just tells you we're in a world where we're probably not taking much of anything too seriously.
Yeah, a bit
if
of
somebody's
whimsy.
confessing
Totally.
in that style, right? Okay, so let's try another confession, and this time we're going to keep the lyrics exactly the same, but we're going to change the plot point, and therefore we're going to also change the genre, okay? So this time, a girl who murdered a man to save her little brother. So this would be an earnest contemporary musical theater. So this could be a story that's maybe dealing with really big, serious issues like war, devastating loss, grief, funerals, maybe like Miss Saigon or Parade, something with a really, really heavy nature
Okay. All right,
in a contemporary style.
Pick a letter.
G.
We love G.
Yes, I did it. It's true. Yes, I did it. set of lyrics, different plot, different style. What do we feel about this character? And how different is it from our Disney villain-esque character? She's feeling pain from what happened. Okay, 11 o'clock number. Connor, extra credit. It suddenly became almost emotionally purging, yes. Trying to be understood, right? This is the kind of song that makes the audience sob. Exactly, right? Whereas the song, the version number 1 makes the audience laugh. Version number 2 makes the audience cry.
Tragic.
Same exact lyrics, right? So obviously lyrics are an incredibly powerful method of storytelling, but there's so much around just the lyrics that convey this story.
I'm trying to remember the quote from that movie, Music and Lyrics. Do you remember when they're talking about like melody versus lyrics, and the lyrics are like the cake and the melody's the icing? But I might have that backwards. Anyways, they're arguing about it.
Oh.
But yes, having the lyrics as a focal point, then you can. She still doesn't seem timid.
Yes, Weston says she still doesn't seem timid, right? Exactly, right? Now imagine if we had started it in a much quieter place, or if throughout the whole show, this character had never had a big moment to sing, right? Kind of like there's this red-headed nun in Sister Act, and the whole point is she's so timid that when she sings with this huge voice, you can't believe it, right? So that's definitely something, right? So in an improvisation, you're just learning things quickly. So we might say, oh, I really like that version. Oh, and a very pro tip, if you are going to improvise, you have to record.
Always be recording.
You have to record, because otherwise you'll have no idea what you did. And you'll do the most brilliant thing and you won't be able to repeat it. But, so for example, that's great feedback, Weston. We might say, I love that version. It feels like it's a more true version of the confession, and but it's not, it's too big. It doesn't feel timid enough, right? So that's perfect feedback. And then we might try it again and say, what would a version feel like where that same, sentiment is expressed really small? We don't have to do it right now, but he's ready. Okay, so let's try another version, okay? This time we're gonna keep the story, the plot, exactly the same. This is a girl who murdered a man to save her little brother. The confession of a murder. And this time the only thing we're gonna change is the genre of the music to R&B. Okay?
Oh boy. All right. Wait, girl who murdered a man to save her little brother.
That's too like.
Let's try a minor key there.
It's like very.
Murder.
Yeah.
That's a bop.
It's troublingly boppy. So that's one that creates a weird juxtaposition, right? Why, it's like an enjoyable sing to something terrible, right?
I think there's no highs effect. She sang the lyrics to herself. Oh yes, that does feel like it's not a direct address. It feels like a diary entry. That's a very good point on that. I totally.
Or even
totally
it. That's great.
Shameless.
Right. This was not you wouldn't sing a confession at a trial in that style, right? But, or, it's not quite there, but what it reminds me of would be like, what if this was the character's confession at the trial, but we wanted to make it clear to the audience that she's lying, or we wanted to, or if there was just enough, riffing or just enough enjoying of singing it that made it feel like it wasn't
like
realistic.
It was an act.
Yeah, right. Or what it really felt like to me was that it was like a song that a nightclub singer sings You know, maybe something where it's sort of meta. So something like All That Jazz, right? Where the singer is telling you, is confessing something to you.
Right.
But they're also actually being an entertainer in that moment. What are we saying in the chat, guys?
Feels intimate, claustrophobic. Just being interrogated or was just caught.
The tension in the chords supplement the lyrics so well.
Thank you, Connor. I just made them up.
Yes, it feels like maybe she's trying to hide the fact that she did it. And she's singing these lyrics to herself and she's running. Yeah, there's something dishonest about a really riffy version of a confession. It just doesn't feel honest, you know? And that's a lot of times, you know, if the singer's getting carried away in a moment that's maybe meant to be a little understated, you might just think, you're singing it too much. It really is meant to be spoken a little more.
Oh, it's like that song from Parade where he's like, it's hard to speak my heart.
Yes, that would be
very simple.
Yeah, it's very simple song in Parade with the confession. And there's so many musicals that use the trial theme because it's got really clear, you know, relationship to
which is a
life.
tragic, serious one as opposed to favorite musical, Legally Blonde, which is supposed to be, you know, a little more camp and comedic.
That's your favorite musical?
No, I was saying, like,
okay.
I'm jokingly saying our favorite.
Okay. No offense.
No offense, lovely.
No offense, lovely. Love you, Larry.
Love you,
okay.
Larry.
So, despite all three versions having the exact same lyrics, tell us in the chat, how did the tone, like, what are we thinking now of this whole exercise? Like, how did things change?
Shift point of character.
Like those three songs, what are we really taking away from this exercise? And it could be anything. The chat is like an improv. It's just a little throwaway.
I had Legally Blonde auditions right before this. I did not, but Carly burnt it.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've definitely covered in our dialogue how the tone, how the style have changed, the details of the characterization.
The whole vibe of the whole vibe is different based on how the song is sung with the mood and the tone. Exactly. And even in the last two examples, we didn't even change the plot. It was the exact same story. But I would say broadly, there was one character who we believed and one character who we didn't believe. So that's such a huge difference, and that's just in a shift from contemporary musical theater to R&B, which really aren't that far away.
Yeah.
The style of the song puts a subtext under the lyrics that can make them seem truthful/untruthful. That's great. That's great. I need to put that.
Hold on, let me write that
down.
down.
I know, let me write that down. I need that. They all had murder in them, but the tone gravely affects the song and its meaning. Exactly. A really serious plot point can be a comedy song in most cartoons. Right?
Yeah, that's
we
like
don't,
tone
we don't,
of show.
Yeah,
when
when Yzma's trying to kill who's the
Cusco.
the llama. When Yzma's trying to kill Cusco, we're not taking it seriously and fearing. We're just wrapped up in her hijinks as she's trying to poison him.
Totally.
Version 1 and 2 switched characters. 3 has the same characters too, but the intention of singing it was different. Exactly. Version 1 and 2 were two completely different worlds, but with the same exact lyrics. And oftentimes the chorus is where we try to be a little bit more general and broad, and that's how we could get away with it. Whereas obviously, most likely the verses of these 3 different songs would be very, very different.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's check how we're doing on time. Great.
Great.
Okay, so we're gonna do one more version of the song, but this time we're gonna let you guys pitch us some different things. A genre, a tone. You can just
character.
throw it in the chat and we'll pick and choose. It will still be a murder confession because that's what all of them have in common. Let's see what we got. A tango, one where it feels like the speaker is hiding from authorities above her. Terrifying. Like a tiptoe type of beat. You guys are already so creative. I'm obsessed. Pop/punk.
I chimed in.
Oh, I did it!
Tonight will be the night.
Yes.
I all for you.
I like it. Anybody else, throw some stuff in there. Feel free. Let's see. Oh, is it? Okay, we've got two things that are basically saying hiding from authorities. Okay. Okay. So let's say we're going to do a version of the character who is physically in the room with the authorities that killed someone by accident.
Okay.
That's terrible. Manslaughter.
Oops.
Coral.
What genre do you want to do?
I don't know. Let's see. Genre we have. I don't think we can do a quiet punk version. Let's see.
Tango?
Tango can't be quiet, can it?
We can try.
We can try. Wait, I don't know what to do. Metal. We don't metal on the piano.
Don't say anything. The authorities are out the room. Wow!
The police are here.
Sorry.
Classical is interesting. Sondheim patter.
Spit them bars.
Okay, let's go for Sondheim patter, which I think is actually, what would we call Sondheim patter? Sondheim patter is contemporary musical theater, but the generation before that, which is just Sondheim.
Yep.
Okay, we'll just call it Sondheim. Okay, Sondheim. In the style of Sondheim.
In the style of
in the genre of Sondheim. With the plot point being
someone.
that the authorities are in the room. And then we also got bossa nova and jazz swing.
You know what? I'm going to combine Sondheim and Bossa.
Okay. A Sondheimian bossa nova. And they're in the room. So where is the microphone for this right now? Is it over here? Okay. I'll come a little bit more forward since I'm going to be singing more quietly. Okay? Okay, guys, that low-key slaps. Thanks. What happened instantly when we did that? I feel like it swung back to comedy.
Definitely comedic.
Broadly, slowly as it went on, it went towards comedy.
Definitely comedic.
To me, it went squarely. You're now in murder mystery, which would be like the mystery of Edwin Drood.
City of Angels.
City of Angels. Maybe even Assassins, which is not really murder mystery. Curtains.
For sure.
There's a ton of musicals in that style, right?
Clue style murder mystery. For
Clue.
sure.
Yes, I love the movie Clue so much. The mood totally changed. Yeah, it was back towards having fun. It swung a little bit back towards our first version, but it was still more truthful than our first version, right?
Yes.
Our first version was just a straight up villain.
And I think a lot of times that can be dynamics that help create the like comedy versus truth, comedic versus sincere or whatever, even with a comedic example.
Yes.
Because if you were like and it was loud and big, that would be villain and funny.
Yes, right. Yeah, or even it could be super meta. If the police are in the room searching for her and she's shouting, singing from the rooftops, and then we obviously know that in real life they would hear her.
Right.
Or even if it was like a juxtaposition thing where, let's go back to that, the bossa nova. So say it's underscored by scenes, right, where she's talking to the police and she says, I was at my mother's house until 9:15. And of course, yes, yes, of course I have an alibi. How dare you ask something like that? I had nothing to do with this. Yes, I did it. It's true. But who can blame me? Can you?
Then back to the cops.
I had nothing to do with this. If James disappeared on a Friday night, he's probably out with his friends golfing late at night once again. Can you? Right, you can have a bunch of endless things.
That was amazing.
Okay. It doesn't feel like the final confession. It could be a soliloquy.
Yes.
This is Cell Block Tango.
Ran a
Yes.
knife 5
Yes, the
times,
confession,
10
exactly.
times.
Exactly, right? Cell Block Tango is dark but comedic.
He had it coming.
Okay, great guys. So this was super fun, and as you can see, we got to just try a bunch of different things really, really quickly. 15 minutes, try out a bunch of different versions.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the end, you might say, I just loved the way we paused, or the way we held out that one word in that time, the
For sure.
timing of the final line. Or we might say, actually, let's keep the bossa nova, but let's put it underneath the really heartfelt thing.
Uh-huh.
And make them a little confused that they don't know who to trust.
For sure.
Endless possibilities. You know, that's why there's the same plot to maybe 100 different musicals, but they're all completely different because there's so many different ways to play with the texture. Okay, so now it's your guys' turn, okay? So we're gonna take a moment, and I want you to think of a few different musical styles. Okay, so sorry, back that up. You're gonna take a moment, you're gonna pick a tone. And then step 2, you're gonna decide on a little bit of plot. And then you're gonna take 5 minutes and you're gonna write down some lyrics, okay? So for example, you might say, I'm gonna pick a very simple plot like my character's having a makeover. And then, you know, you're gonna pick a tone such as, you know, comedic and villainous, meaning my character is now so hot, this is the beginning of their villain arc, and they're clearly dangerous now.
That's hot.
Or is it a heartfelt moment where our hero has received, you know, the transformation that now their outside reflects the beauty of their inside, right? Or has something just gone horribly wrong?
Yeah, that's all great. All right, so take a few minutes, write some lyrics. This is improvisation, so we're gonna embrace the mistakes. There aren't mistakes when we're improvising. There's just different pathways that open up to us. And we're gonna honor writing quickly over crafting perfect lyrics word by word. So, hit it.
Go!
5 minutes.
Okay, so we are gonna stay in the flow. You're gonna have a few more minutes to write, but basically we just want you to start thinking of musical styles that could really convey your story and your lyrics. And that could be something that juxtaposes what you've just written, or something that goes, you know, really hand in hand with it, something that goes perfectly well with it, okay? And so if you want to sing, if you want to just think about it, if you write music, if you have a keyboard right there, any way that you want to begin to play with it, and then we'll come back together. And if you want, when we come back, you can share. There's no pressure to share.
Totally.
Okay, so now you're gonna have 5 more minutes, okay?
We're going to talk a little bit about a new thing at NAMT, which is that if you like the improv exercises that we did tonight, NAMT has a new tool designed to spark creativity and generate fresh musical ideas through our NAMT Instagram writing prompt filter. This filter provides a randomized writing prompt with 3 different elements. Song components, which will suggest a specific part of a song to write, such as the hook, the melody, verse, or chorus. A musical style, which you'll receive as a popular recognizable musical, so in the style of Hamilton, in the style of Pippin, in the style of Wicked, etc. And then the topic, so a unique and unexpected topic that will inspire the content of your song. So you can find the filter by just searching NAMT in filters on Instagram, or you can take your phone out right now and you can scan that QR code. And it will take you directly to the NAMT Instagram writing prompt filter. And so we encourage you to use this as a quick, fun way to generate ideas. And if you want to utilize it, we also really encourage you to record your experience from just receiving the prompt to creating something based on it, and then share that with the NAMT community. So don't forget to follow at NAMT_org on Instagram and tag us in your post about using the prompt. And also, again, you can follow us at NAMT_org on Instagram for all things Songwriting Challenge. And so now we're going to transition to our Q&A. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Zeniba and Rodney, for an awesome time tonight. We'll see you all next time. Thanks again, everyone.
Guys.
everyone.
Have a great night.
Have a good night. Yeah, the chat is funny right now. Exactly. It's so threatening, right? The lyric is really dreamy and you know, like all of their music, but it's really threatening. You know, you will never get away from this. This will haunt you.
Yep.
It's a threat.
Yes, from Grandmother Witch herself.
From a grandmother witch.
From the Grandmother Witch. All right. I thought we'd move on to some improv, the second part of our presentation.